All right, you guys. So I'm here with the artist Sulu. He's coming out of Pasadena. How you doing, Sulu?
I'm doing great, Troy. How are you?
So Sulu, walk us through your jacket there. We were talking a little bit about it before, but why don't you tell the audience what that jacket says?
Yeah, so it's mirrored on the Zoom, but it says Sulu, which is the name my Chinese teacher gave me in seventh grade. It was the first day of class. Everybody walked in, and she had phonetic spellings of our real names. My real name is Luke Supalak. So in Chinese, your surname goes first. And I saw the desk that said Sulu, and I was like, this has to be me. And from that moment, it stuck as a nickname, and I really like it. So it's my brand now.
It became your brand.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So you rode with that. And so Sulu, let's talk about music. What do you have you're currently working on that's coming out?
Well, right now I'm in a little bit of a transitional period. I just put out an electronic project in October of 2020. So I'm still riding the wave of that for a little bit, but I'm hoping to get something more commercial, I guess, by the end of the year put together.
Nice. Okay. Sounds good to me. Well, that's still really exciting. So, but you're still actively working on music to this day, right? You're always working on stuff. You're a producer, so I imagine you're always doing stuff. You're living in this. This is your world.
Yeah, totally. And now that I'm going to music school out here, I'm studying music production at Los Angeles College of Music. Every day I'm working on becoming a better producer technically and writing songs with peers and all sorts of stuff. So every day is a growth opportunity.
So the genre of music that you create, this is, what would you call the genre? What's the genre of music?
Well, right now it's pretty much very electronica, instrumental. It crosses the borders kind of like dance, trance, IDM, down tempo. I do all sorts of instrumental electronic music. But if I'm being honest, my heart belongs to pop music. So a lot of my influences come from stuff that I recognize and hear all the time and what's trendy. So I kind of bring that into my own little EDM off the beaten path world.
So you create your music, but you take a lot of inspiration from pop, the music you're listening to, and you're not limiting yourself to anything. You're taking it all in and then putting it into the current music you're making, but it can go anywhere.
Absolutely, yes.
Nice. And so what are you currently listening to right now? What are some of the inspirations?
Oh, I have so many. I mean, I'm constantly listening to music, but I mean, just to name a few, I'm always obsessed with Charlie XCX. I think she's always pushing the envelope.
What's something she has out that's really popular that we might know, the audience might know?
Good question, because a lot of her popular music, like Boom Clap, a lot of people know Boom Clap, maybe Break the Rules. Her older stuff that's kind of more, it honestly has a little bit more of a rock vibe to it. Mm-hmm. But now she's really pushing the hyper pop world, and that's something that I hope to engage in the future. I would love to try my hand at hyper pop and see where that takes me, because sonically I just find it incredibly inspiring.
Why don't you just do it now? Why are you waiting? Why do you say in the future? The future could be tomorrow, right?
Well, you got me there. Because I'm constantly working on stuff. I have hyper pop tracks that I've written that I really just, I need to continue to build a little bit, because I am new to treating myself as an artist. I've been a classical percussionist for pretty much my entire career since I was 8 years old. That's what I've done the longest. So I'm very used to playing other people's compositions and standing at the back of the stage and just helping everything function pretty much. And so now I really, moving to California and everything, I want to dive headfirst into being an artist. And so that's kind of what my process is right now, is cultivating a sound that works for me, that shows my personality in a way that the music that I have out right now doesn't necessarily. Just even though that it comes from me and I really enjoy it, I'm working on bringing myself into it a bit more.
Bringing yourself to it more. So you're still just in that cultivation process where you want to find this point sonically where you say, this is what I want to put out. It sounds like exactly what I've been looking for. And we're going to move forward from there. You're in that cultivation process where we're getting there, but we're still in the lab, working on it, putting it together.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, there is still plenty of stuff for people to listen to if they want to.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. Nice. And so
Yeah.
how long ago did you make the move to Los Angeles?
I'm pretty new. I've been here for about 5 years. I moved for school. So that's what my main focus has been pretty much right now, along
Nice.
with my music and everything. That's supplementing it, definitely.
No, absolutely. I could only imagine. I mean, you move from Ohio and then you have to separate from that reality. Sort of, some of us need to sort of get away from our surroundings in order to help that reinventing process, or even just that evolving process. You know what I mean? If we're evolving as people and, excuse me, even as artists, we kind of got to get away. You know, we got to move surroundings. We got to change it up. And you came to the entertainment capital of the world. So you're in the right place.
Yeah, that's exactly my feelings about it. Um, I feel like a lot of people. I mean, when you're graduating high school and you're moving to that new phase of your life, people get really, really intimidated, and they can't really fathom moving more than like a 2 hour drive away and stuff like that. So when I picked up and left for Los Angeles, people were like, "Oh, he meant it," and I was like, "Yeah, that's this is the next step," and I'm really proud of myself for that now.
Hey, well, good for you. You made the move. People underestimated you. Now you're out here. You've been here for 5 years. You're putting together the music, and it's all coming together, really. You're in the process. You're on your journey. That's really exciting. So, well, that's really awesome. And so, walk me through just your sound and how you've been developing that sound. What are you using right now? What are your current instruments? What's your, weapon of choice?
Well, in terms of software, I started on Ableton. I'm primarily a Logic guy now because I that's just a little bit more how my mind works. And now I'm also picking up Pro Tools. I'm on my way to be Avid certified, so that's awesome. But in terms
Nice.
of my sound, um, I get so much influence from just my background in music in general. I mean, my parents pretty much raised me on like 80s synth pop and like top 40. So that in combination with my vast orchestral background kind of resulted in this really interesting, almost untouched area of electronic down-tempo music that I've been putting out over the past few years. Um, but now, after I put out my compilation album, The Collection, in October, I'm hoping to pivot to something a little bit more commercial and, like I said, treat myself more as an artist going forward.
Very nice. Very nice. So
No
cool.
worries.
Hey man, well that's really exciting. So you want to get into the commercial department. So you're trying to get more into the commercial area so that you can get some more exposure and maybe just get some commercial success so that the audiences, the more broader audiences can get some exposure to Sulu.
Yeah, definitely, but not inauthentically at all. I don't want to just make pop music to make pop music. I want to make it because that's truly what speaks to me personally. I mean, I love everything, I really do. But like, if you ask me what I'm listening to, like at the moment, it's probably going to be some pop artist. So I feel like that's what I have the most experience with, and that's really what I want to do moving forward, long term at least.
What do you think about the queen of pop not being able to work for her own freedom? Seems like she's working for everybody but herself, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, it'll do that to you.
I'll do that to you. Hey, well, Sulu, we can keep talking. I can keep going with you. I really appreciate your time, your words, everything that you talk about. It's really inspiring to just see you do your thing. You're somebody who made the move from Ohio to Los Angeles. You're a living reality to the fact that you can leave your hometown and make it out here and do it. Look at you. You're doing it. You're living your life and you're doing exactly what you want.
Yes, chasing the dream, evolution, growth, perseverance.
What keeps you inspired? Are you just naturally inspired? It seems like you don't really seek any type of motivation. You're sort of just self motivated, but you're also just self content. It seems like you're just content in whatever situation you're in. You're just kind of like, coasting, enjoying it.
Yeah, honestly, that's really interesting that you say that because, I mean, I've never really had to look elsewhere for inspiration. I mean, obviously, it does help, like going to concerts, listening to music, all sorts of stuff, looking at art. Everything influences what I produce myself. That's inspiration, right? But I never felt like I had to seek that stuff out in order to be creative. It's just something I've always been able to do. Like, I mean, I was practically born with like Crayola markers in my hands. Like, my mom is a graphic designer. We work on a lot of my stuff together, my visuals for my music. And I was just raised in an environment where I was encouraged to be creative all the time. And so that made me the very self sufficient artist that I am now.
Very nice. So you can go ahead and create in your own universe and keep moving forward with that and not really need any type of response from any outside source.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I
Hey,
do love to work with people. I've been working with peers a lot on songs for them, writing, co producing, all sorts of stuff. I think it really is beautiful when you're able to make art with people besides yourself. Having that input is really incredible and often results in like magical bodies of work. But it is really nice to be able to sit down at my computer alone and make something that I'm proud of.
very nice. Very well said. Very well said. And so you're living in this. You're a self-sufficient artist. You create for your own means, and you're putting work out because it's the work you want and the work you want to put out. So it's once again really inspiring to see, Sulu.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing that.
So that being said, a self-sufficient artist, not very often do we come by, your type, your breed. That's a very lots of artists seek a lot of validation from outside sources. If anything, that's all they seek, right? But they spend the whole day seeking the validation and you're just moving forward with, your art. And that's really awesome. Do you have a daily process, a daily creative process? Are you just naturally creative? Are you just somebody who picks up a spoon and then suddenly you go ahead and dip it in the ink and you just start creating with that? Like, are you just living in this artistic world? Is this forced upon at any point of your day? Or do you have a routine where you just sit, create the music? I'm really curious.
Honestly, I don't have much of a routine. I will occasionally make a point to set aside time for working on music or something like that. But I mean, I'm creative in everything I do. Outside of music, I love painting, I love fashion, I love photography, all sorts of things. Like, I'm very multifaceted, but those elements influence my music also. So I mean, even when I'm not doing anything important, chances are it's still something to do with like art or just being creative in general. So I never really feel like I have to force myself into doing something unless I have like a deadline or something that I'm trying to meet. But usually creativity comes very naturally to me.
Very nice. Well, once again, it's just natural. This comes. Well, that's very inspiring, Stu. That's really awesome. I mean, it comes naturally. You don't really, need the motivation. Do you do any reading? Do you like to read books? Do you like to listen to audiobooks? How about that? How are you consuming your education and going about that?
I'm not a big reader. Honestly, that's something I would like to get into more because, I mean, in high school, like, you would reject, like, I mean, I don't know if you would, I should speak for myself, but, like, I would, I would reject reading all the time because of, like, the content. Like, I just would not find it interesting or inspiring unless it was, like, very specific type writing. Like I remember reading Catcher in the Rye my junior year, and I was like, "This is phenomenal. This is weird. This is funky," and I can totally see myself reading books like this. But
Right.
I mean, I just
Other things, not so much.
yeah, I just haven't unfortunately made the effort to find more reading that I enjoy. But I am getting a very nice education with my music right now. So that's helping me a lot.
With regards to with the music education, with where you're studying currently.
Yeah, the Los Angeles College of Music.
Right, right. So currently you're getting certified. You said what was the exact certification?
Well, that's my Pro Tools certification, Avid certification. I'm working on that, but I'm also pursuing a bachelor's degree in music producing and recording.
So you'd like to be a music producer. You'd like to record for other artists and be in there with the studio and help them mix and master their tracks.
Totally. I mean, I want to do it all. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to see a song all the way through from an idea to a mastered track that we're releasing. You know what I mean? I really love coming up with concepts, lyrics, all sorts of stuff, chords, melodies, like how a song will begin, and then taking those ideas and like raw feelings and putting it into a digital audio workstation and just like making it real. I think that's a really dope process. And then also with my art background, making like visuals for it and working with people to create whatever aesthetic they're feeling with their music. I think it's awesome to be able to see something through all the way from beginning to end, the creative process.
And so what does that look like each and every time? Is it always different when you're beginning these songs from the bottom up? Does it start with a chord structure, the melody? How does that look like for you? Do you have a pattern you start with?
Honestly, for me, it's always pretty different. I mean, with my music that I have out right now, that's very electronic, synthy, instrumental. I would often start
Like
with
Stranger Things type of stuff, like cinematic, very synthy,
it's
dark
pretty
pads.
cinematic, but it's also very it has very cinematic elements, but there's also like trendy elements like trap beats and stuff like that in it. It's very much an intersection of like modern music and like an instrumental cinematic electronic universe. So when I'm working on stuff like that, typically it would start with like chords. Usually I can honestly write pop chords and then just take them do different inversions or different or order them in a different way, and that'll create something really interesting. And but like when I'm working with peers who write like R&B and pop and stuff like that, honestly, it can really change. Like, start with a concept, start with one lyric, or start with chords, or just loop, keep singing a melody over and over until you hear something. Like,
Mhm.
it really changes every time. And I think that's what's so great about the creative process, is because it's pretty unexpected.
It's unexpected. Absolutely. It's like a dance, right? Especially when you're in the room with other artists and other creative minds, you have to really dance that dance and know how to adapt and innovate,
Definitely.
improvise.
Yeah, totally.
Are you quick to adapt to many artists and their different styles and structures? Since you want to do something like this, you must be pretty quick to find someone's style and go from there, right? Because you have to be able to sort of separate your own style and your own ideas and also be able to fit in what commercially works the most for a certain group.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of gained. I formed a pop band in high school, and we ended up performing, like placing third at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame High School Rock Off. Um, so that was pretty awesome, and that gave me the confidence that like I can write original music. So
Wow, look at that.
and people will like it. So I guess I just take my knowledge from what people sort of expect, and then being able to do your own thing with it. Like taking what people recognize and enjoy and being able to flip it upside down and do what you want with it in a way that's still, I don't want to say accessible, but makes sense to people. And I think that's um, something that requires a bit of adaptability, like you said. So yeah,
You know the rules and you know how to break them and you know how to take people on a journey. Go ahead and throw them for a loop and wrap it all up and then go ahead and smooth landing.
yes.
All right, Sulu. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. And let's go ahead and get you again in the future. But for now, how can we find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me at Sulu Official on Instagram, at Sulu Official _ on Twitter, and at Sulu TV on YouTube.
Sulu TV. Sulu, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm really inspired by just all the motivation that you exert, and just it's really inspirational to see that you're self-sufficient. You create your work for yourself, and you're putting out for really yourself, and whoever likes it can join the party, and if not, it's still going to keep coming. So really inspired and looking forward to having you on again in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for reaching out, and I can't wait to talk to you in the future.
All right, Sulu. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.